y'all, it's Hope here at Crafty Hope and welcome. It is time for my week 30 mixed media prompt project. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that and then I guess we'll get to it. So since the beginning of October, I have been creating a prompt deck using just regular playing cards. I'm drawing 3 prompts each week from a list I have of 156 prompts and then creating the card. So one side of the card has my prompts on it. This week, week 30, I had pink, draw, and distress stain. So I altered both sides of my card using those. One side is more decorative with just like something you would find in an art journal. The other side mostly just needs to contain the prompts but still be kind of pretty. So that's my card for my prompt deck. At the end of September, I guess, I should hopefully have a full deck. I still have the 2 jokers and I might do something with them. I haven't decided, so I might have a 54 card deck. We'll see. For now, I'm tossing that idea around. But in addition to making my prompt cards, I like to take these prompts and make a project with them. So I'm not just using them in this order one time. I've got something more that I do with them. So this week I think I'm just going to do a tag, y'all. I've had the worst sinus stuff going on for the past week or so, and today I'm just dragging. So I thought I'm gonna do a tag, keep it easy, hopefully, and we'll see. This card is not my favorite card. You can go, I've got a playlist that will be at the end of this, where you can get all of the videos that I've made, both the cards and the prompts, along with a few other people who have participated and used the hashtag. You are also welcome to join in this. You can use the prompts that I'm pulling each week, or I've got my full prompt list in the description box below that you can print out and cut up and pull them how many ever you want to pull or however you want to use them. Just use that hashtag CraftyHope prompt so I can see what you're doing with them. And if you can, tag me at CraftyHope. That tends to make sure I see them. Okay guys, so like I said, I'm probably making a tag this week. I have my tag over here. Just a little, I don't even know what size this is. Looks like by 5 by 2.5 or so. If you want, I'll measure it real quick. If I can get to my ruler. That's maybe not 2.5. 2 3/4-ish by 5 1/4. So there, I was close. So I'm going to do my tag for pink. I have pulled out, this is the Amsterdam Acrylic Ink and Reflex Rose. It is super hot pink. I've also got some pink embroidery floss. That is about all the pink I have pulled out. I kind of went overboard on this card, and I think that's what ended up me not liking it as much as I could. Draw. Okay, I'm combining draw and distress stain kind of, so here are all of my distress stains. If you go back to my card video, I talk about the distress stain and what some of your options may be instead of using a stain. But basically it's like the ink inside of some of your like spray inks or whatever, I suppose. I don't know the complete formulation of them, but I have plenty of them and I need to use them. So I am going to cut this piece of cards, just white cardstock. I'm going to ink it up with these distress stains and then use some fine liner bottles with black acrylic inks and paints. Since I don't know, this one I know has black fluid acrylic and airbrush medium in it. This one I don't remember, but they're fine liners, and I thought I'll ink this up, maybe draw something, flowers or butterflies or I don't know, something, and then cut it out for my card. That's my general idea. We will see. That it may not work out and may have to start this whole thing back over. I hope not, because like I said, I'm not feeling great. Okay, I will voice over the rest of this. Let me know below if you have any questions or concerns or anything. So, I'm going to get to inking. I do love using these distress stains to get inky. Ooh, okay. And inky I got. So I am going to basically just take a variety of the brighter ones of these distress stains. I wanted to use a lot of colors. I'm not going to be able to tell you what colors I used. I think that first one, no, that second one was picked raspberry. This is probably mowed lawn, spiced marmalade there. I don't know. It doesn't really matter because they don't make these distress stains anymore. As far as I know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But as far as I know, Ranger and Tim Holtz don't make these. And, I just need to find ways to use them. If y'all know of some other ways to use the distress stains, if you have them in your stash and you love them in certain ways, let me know because I need to find some other ways to use it. For now, just laying them down like this is a lot of fun for me. So I like how they're mostly transparent and go over each other. There I did try to spray it to see if I could get some water spots on it. It did not work. So I'm going to dry it and I'm going to come in with these fine liner. I'm going to try this one and okay. So the first thing I try to draw is some moths. Yeah, I got to work on that skill because these are sad looking moths. They're so bad. So I'm like, okay, well maybe just one wing. And so they're just the left ones keep ending up with these like rectangles. I couldn't anyway. So I was like, okay, I'll do some flowers. But right in here, my fine liner started getting clogged and I had to step away and try to clear it and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, you know what? Never mind. I don't have to use the fine liner. I can use something else. I can use a pen or whatever. And so I decided to use this black Posca paint pen. So this is a great example, y'all. If you don't have something that I'm using, fine, you've probably got something else in your stash that would work. So if I hadn't used this Posca paint pen, I might have used one of my Sharpie paint pens or just a black marker. Like a permanent marker would probably work with this as long as you make sure that paper is really dry. Yeah. So as you can see, I did some like daisy type flowers, and I think I'll do several of those, and then I'm going to do some like rose type flowers right here. And just doodle. I'm doodling I say doodle, I'm drawing. Because I think doodle might be one of my other prompts. And to me, that's something else than what I'm doing here. So I'm going to make these. You see, I'm kind of turning the paper and getting different areas with different colors. And that was kind of my whole point with these distress stains, was to get a bunch of different colors. So when I did my drawing on them, I would have a variety of colors on whatever it is I drew on top. So, and since the butterfly moth whatever didn't work, I'm doing other things. And I will tell you, I had meant to make much smaller flowers. I really kind of set out in my mind that I was going to make some tiny little things that I was going to add to that tag. And y'all, look how big these are. They are not tiny little things. So I am getting close to done. I think I was trying to make some, what do you call those, like dahlia type shaped ones, and it wasn't working. So I go back to my roses. I was like, yeah. And so when I cut these, I do notice that there are a couple of them I don't like as much as others, places where I'd gone over with the distress stain too many times and the colors look kind of muddy. So those are ones I'm like almost immediately like, yep, I'm not going to use that. So I'm cutting out my flowers real quick. Oh, y'all, I cut my finger with the scissors. I was like, oh no, am I bleeding? Fortunately, I was not. So you can see I'm cutting these down from the paper to make them easier to handle. And then I'm just going to fussy cut them. Yeah. So I'll let you see me fussy cut 1.5 of these, I think, and then we'll skip ahead and I'll show you what I've got of what I cut out. Let's see, I was still worried about my finger. It was on my hand right by my pinky finger. So here are the flowers that I ended up cutting out. Some of them I didn't even bother because I knew they were going to be ugly. But yeah, these, they're great. I love them. I think they're pretty awesome. So it's time to get started on my tag itself. Apparently on my desk it got something on it, but that's okay because we're going to collage. And I'm using a variety of scrap papers that are off to the side. This is some kind of ledger paper that I altered. Y'all, I think I actually altered this as part of Amy Bishop's Magpie journal workshop. And I made a ton of papers in that workshop and had them sitting off to the side. They've been sitting off to the side for like, I don't know, maybe 2 years. Has it been that long? I don't know, maybe maybe a year and a half, because I think I was doing that workshop just before I broke my ankle. So, and then there's some that is I don't even know, it's some kind of book with like Asian lettering in it. I can't tell you if that's Japanese or Chinese or Korean. I don't really know. But I got that in an ephemera pack from Ricky Midbrod from Ricky Tikki Tavi. And then there's just some of other papers from my stash. These are great, y'all. I was really just trying to get a neutral background. So I had that watercolored piece there, but I didn't want the color. So I flipped it over because what I was trying to do was just get around that hole at the top without covering it. And I covered it a little there. So this paper's kind of brittle. So I just kind of break it off where the hole is. Yeah, y'all, I'm fancy. Uh, I'm just gonna make it work. And so I'm just getting a bunch of different kinds of papers, and these were all just sitting on my desk. So yeah, my desk is a mess. It's a serious mess. I need to get in there and get organized, but I've got a full weekend of videos ahead for y'all. Today I have this project for you, and of course Monday will be my card, and I believe tomorrow you'll get to see my clean slate journal from Nina Fickett. So yeah, there's lots of stuff coming for y'all. It's been a busy week. Busy. So did I mention that I'm just using my Uhu glue stick to glue these down? It's just quick and easy. There's another piece of that altered ledger paper that I'm going to put on the other side of that hole. And I think we're coming to the end of this. I think there might be one or two little things. I know I'm trying to trim it as I go so it's not too crazy later. Yeah. All right, so now that that's all on there, I thought, okay, let's grunge this whole thing up, kind of integrate this a little bit. And I grabbed my instant coffee. I'll have a link to the instant coffee I use, which is the Nescafe dark roast, I believe. Anyway, I've got a link to it to Amazon below. But I keep that little yogurt cup there and reconstitute it. And when it gets low, I add more coffee and water. And yeah, so I painted and splattered there to kind of integrate all of this, give it kind of integrate it, make it work all well together. Because I really want these bright colors to pop on top of all of those neutrals. So I'm picking out some of my favorite ones, and I liked that these had kind of a rainbow pattern there, but I really wanted them to work all together instead of spread out like I did. So I decided on these four. I'll end up bringing in another one here at the end of this. But the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add some pink. A couple of those flowers do have pink on them, but I was like, I love this reflex rose. So I am going to splatter it. I've got a fan brush and I'm going to splatter it. And y'all, I get right where it shows the most, it's a big blob there, and I'll end up, after I dry it, it didn't dry all the way, so I turn it over to flatten it, and it goes sploosh, which is not my favorite thing, but I've got that pink on there, and that's all that matters. That's one of my prompts. It's great. Now, while the flowers are they could be a great focal on there, I knew I didn't want them to be the star of the show, so I went and looked through these. I can't remember. Are they found relatives or lost relatives? I don't remember. They are these big playing card things, and I don't think Tim Holtz makes them either anymore. Y'all, I've got all these things stored up that I've got to use, so I am trying to use them. But I found this one with this little girl on it, and she was kind of the perfect size for the card to be just like kind of a big statement. So I'm fussy cutting her out as well, and you can almost tell it here. Can y'all tell it? I didn't notice it till later that her dress is been slightly colored and it's got a pink shade to it. How great is that? It is perfect. It's also got pink on it. So I decided I'm gonna like have her sitting with her back against these flowers. So it's kind of perfect. She's kind of got her eyes darting toward those flowers. And I'm trying to find a great way to organize them behind her because I didn't like the two roses together and the two daisies together. I had to split them up and find just the right placement of them. I was overthinking it to the max. So I'm going to ink up the edges of this because I did cut her out. It's that paper edges are kind of raw with the white on it. So this is distress ink in. It's mostly walnut stain, but it's got a little bit of tea dye in it. It's brown. It's brown. So I'm inking the edges making sure that that white bit of paper isn't showing and giving her even more of an aged feel. And now I'm going to take that Oohoo glue stick and start gluing these flowers down. I have delayed this long enough, so they are getting glued down just like so. Easy peasy. And I love this pop of color against like that neutral background, and then she's neutral, and it really just, I don't know, it becomes really eye-catching. I keep catching this card or this tag out of the corner of my eye because of the brightness, and I'm like, ooh, look at that. I can't believe how bright those distress stains are. They're like super bright. They're probably brighter than anything I have, so I need to remember that the next time I need some bright pop of color, that maybe I should grab those. So here I've got another rose that I'm going to bring in here just to hang off the bottom of the card, because I didn't like that bottom corner kind of showing like it did. So I glue it down as well, and then I'll use Fabri-Tac to glue her down, because like a playing card or whatever, these found relatives are kind of thick, so it needed something a little bit heftier to glue it down. And yeah, that worked pretty great. And I'm going to look at her for a little bit, and I think, yeah, I start picking stuff up, thinking, okay, I'm getting close to done. What do I need to do? And I wasn't liking the way well, yeah, we'll get to that. Decided to go ahead and add her a shadow over to the right side and activate that with the Stabilo all pencil in black, because it is yummy. And I'm going to cut that bend of her legs off here in a second, because I'm just not digging just not digging that bend. But I like that both the flower and her legs kind of come off the page. And I grabbed my small talk stickers from Tim Holtz and found the phrase, and I looked for a while, y'all, to find just the right phrase for her. And it says, look on the bright side, which, y'all, she is looking toward those flowers, and they are so bright. So it feels like she's, not just looking to the left, she's looking on the bright side. I know, big dork. That's me. So I'm just sticking those in. I've cut them down to size, and I will use my Stabilo just to go underneath each of those words and give them also that same little bit of shadow that I gave her. Like I said, yep, Stabilo, activate it. And now, because this is a tag, I can't leave it without a little fringy something on the top. So I've got some of that seam binding that I used the other day. This one's a little bit paler, and I'm going to pull in a couple of those pink distress stains. That's probably the picked raspberry, and I don't know what this, I'm going to bring another one in a second, or maybe two. Yeah, it wasn't working just with the little bit on the surface, so I inked them on there. And then, yeah, added it on top of there. And then I'll spray some water on it to try to get them all to integrate. I kept looking through my distress stains trying to find a color that might also work. And I wasn't digging them, so I was like, nope, we're going to do this. So I move it around and all that. My fingers were pink for hours. But I wiped my fingers and bunched up that seam binding inside that, what is that, shop cloth. And then I dried it with the heat tool. Now this ends up being way longer than I need it, and I noticed that once I get it on here, and I was like, yep, that's not gonna work. So I go ahead, see, and I put it on the wrong way. I'm making a half hitch, not half hitch. I always try to say it's a half hitch. Is a lark's head knot. And you do that by folding your ribbon in half and then going through your hole with that loop and then pulling the other ends up into that loop and pulling it tight. And y'all, this is it for this card. I hope you enjoyed this little project. I like it much better than the card I made this week. I hope it inspires you to go and create something fun. And if you like this, make sure to give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and come back later and see what we are going to do. Like I said, I'll be here all weekend. See you later. Bye.